You know, I spend a lot of time texting, looking at pictures of people I don't even know. Do you know why I'm doing this?
So ask yourself, why are we having this epidemic of suicide, mental health problems, especially among girls? Average boy.
In the week after I turned off the media, I changed more than I have at any other point in my life.
I don't have any involvement.
2 years without Instagram, and today I'm completing 9 months without social media. My goal with this video isn't to sit here talking about the damage caused by social media, nor how it has affected people's lives. After all, this is a pretty trendy topic, and you can find plenty of experts talking about it out there. But what has caught my attention is that I've seen a lot of people choosing to delete their social media accounts. In fact, there have been several videos popping up here on YouTube where influencers from around the world talk about how deleting their social media was transformative in their lives. I even watched some of those videos, but at the end of all of them, I always had the same question in my mind. Would this be a universal solution to improve our quality of life? The other day, I posted a video here on the channel Shorts, where the actress Scarlett Johansson explains why she doesn't have a social media account. In the video, she says that she has a lot of anxiety and that her ego is very fragile. And because of that, she can't handle that environment. I'm very fragile. By the number of likes I got on that video, and by analyzing the comments, I realized that the audience in general is flirting with the actress's decision. I even selected this comment that was made on the video with 10,000 likes to illustrate what I'm talking about. She's absolutely right. Instagram is a world where everything and everyone is perfect. We keep comparing ourselves and end up feeling terrible. The most curious thing is that I also posted this exact video on my other social networks. And to my surprise, the vast majority also supported the actress's decision. What I'm trying to illustrate, and what impresses me the most, is the fact that the vast majority are aware of the negative influence social media has on their lives. But even so, it's clear that this isn't enough to disconnect them from the screen. Whether it's because of addiction, habit, or even work, how we become completely immersed in this universe and seem unable to find any alternative to escape from it. This current moment even makes me forget a little about the early days of social networks. And of course, there has always been a major financial interest behind their creation. But I have the feeling that in the beginning, everything happened in a more harmonious way. God bless the internet. Anyone who lived through that phase with Orkut, or even with the early days of Facebook and Twitter, will probably agree with me that they played an interesting role in connecting people, ideas, news, art, and so on. But, as with everything good that doesn't last forever, they quickly gained popularity and started adapting according to the experiences and behaviors of their users. And that's exactly where the problem begins. Time was cruel. With these platforms, with every update, every launch, and every new platform that appeared, the desires of their users became more and more exposed. And naturally, as the years went by, they became an increasingly perfect reflection of our society. And what at first seemed to be an evolution, something that would improve our online experience, quickly turned into a setback. And this isn't a new story. It's not the first time this has happened in technology. This is a cycle that has been repeating itself for quite some time. In fact, I talked about this topic in this video, which is worth checking out if you're interested. But as I was saying, this is a cycle that seems to have no solution. We've seen it happen throughout history. We're seeing it happen with social media, and we'll certainly see it happen with artificial intelligence or any other innovation that comes along. After all, the world isn't guided by human morals and ethics, but by our unrestrained ambition that seeks to progress, with no conscious idea of what it really wants or what would make it happier. And the consequence is that we see man becoming increasingly unhappy and calling this unhappiness progress. Now, if we ignore all the romanticization that exists behind the history of humanity, it becomes very clear the decisive role played by this strong desire of man, whether it is for power, recognition, or personal satisfaction. And it is precisely on top of these traits that the games of our society are developed. When I say game, I mean the human constructs in this life, the rules, roles, and conventions that have been established throughout our existence on this planet. So it would be as if Mark Zuckerberg, Kevin Systrom, Zhang Yiming, and all the others had developed a new game for society, a game capable of exposing and highlighting, in a way never seen before, all the toxicity of human behavior. A new competition for trivialities began, but this time with even more superficial attributes. So, besides your money, your job, your degree, which have long been seen as some of the key elements to determine not only your status, but also the level of your happiness and well-being. Now, followers, likes, views, comments have emerged, metrics that have started to quantify your value to society. So, the one with more followers is more popular, the one with more likes is more attractive, the one with more comments has more friends, and the one who posts more is more experienced. Saying it like this, it might sound silly, but what do you think people did when they were faced with all of this?
And now, what are we going to do? It's obvious, isn't it? We play to get to the other side.
On the other side, there's the much desired recognition. To get there, you just have to give yourself to this game and play it, believing that it will bring some sense of accomplishment to your life. And in this search for validation and social acceptance, the one who had fewer likes reinvents himself with filters to look more attractive. The one who was seen as poor started posting things associated with rich people. The one who had few followers bought them, and so on. I am invincible. It's as if in this relentless search to build an ideal virtual image, people find within themselves a self distorted by egocentric desires and choose that figure to represent them. With that, social networks became showcases where people desperate for attention found a simple way to be noticed at all times, which naturally ended up inflating a lot of people's egos.
Of course, it's all about me, me, me. I'm so important, son of a bitch.
This false sense of relevance and importance disconnected a lot of people from the real world. After all, in the virtual world, everything is simpler, easier, and faster. No one even cares that at the same time it's empty, superficial, and fake. After all, when you're not really aware of what's behind what you're playing with, you get completely involved without even questioning it. Your main concern is how to win it more and more and more. What few people seem to understand is that no one wins this game without understanding its true nature, without understanding that this tireless search for relevance, it's something that gradually makes you surrender to a system where there are no real rewards, a system that traps you with the feeling of inferiority and creates a fear and anxiety of always wanting to please and meet other people's expectations. When you fall into this trap, you start relying on the illusion that acceptance is the path to personal fulfillment.
I've looked at 230,000 brains, and I've been blessed to see Justin Bieber and Miley Cyrus and a whole bunch of really fascinating, cool people who've been really depressed. It's like, how can you be depressed? You're Justin Bieber. Or how can you believe you're not enough, right? Because their pleasure centers get worn out by being noticed over and over and over again.
How do you realize that in the midst of the continuous whirlwind of emotions brought on by this game? When you're deeply immersed in this universe, it's almost impossible to step back and observe this game from a more objective perspective. Because even if you try, the platforms themselves are a constant reminder for you to immediately get back into the game and take it seriously. After all, how can you relax if you had a terrible day and there's someone you can't stand enjoying a boat trip in Europe with a Spanish model? Social media often makes us think that maybe we should be somewhere else, doing something else, and with someone else. And this ends up shaping our lives and affecting our decisions, making us believe that the answers to our goals and happiness will be found in others.
Advertising has us chasing cars and clothes, working jobs we hate so we can buy stuff we don't need.
And that's when I ask you, who do you think is to blame for all this? The one who put the cards on the table, or the one who sat down to play? And little by little, he got involved, and just like a gambling addict, he let it spill over into every area of his life. I can guarantee you one thing, from now until the end of your life, many new games like this social media one will appear. And if you can only see yourself as a mere victim, just a puppet in this whole theater, your life will always be hostage to the rules that guide these games, which is certainly very limiting. All this context reminds me of the movie American History X, which tells the story of a promising young man, played by Edward Norton, who ends up getting involved with violent gangs and adopting neo-Nazi beliefs. Throughout the movie, it becomes clear that the protagonist is completely influenced by the circumstances of his life, which is exactly what leads him down this path of hatred and rebellion. His involvement with this cause is so deep that he can no longer even consciously think about the meaning of his actions. Until a certain moment comes when he is arrested, and after a long time in prison, he receives a visit from a teacher from his school days, who takes advantage of the deplorable situation his former student is in to make him reflect on his behavior, making him realize that all the hatred and rebellion that possessed him and seemed to give meaning to his life led him nowhere.
There was a time when I used to blame everything and everyone for all the pain, suffering, and vile things that happened to me. I blamed everybody, blamed white people, blamed society, blamed God. I didn't get any answers because I was asking the wrong questions. You have to ask the right questions. Has anything you've done made your life better?
The great paradox is that we don't even realize that through our doctrinaire hunger to make everyone think like us, we end up creating a toxic and harmful environment for ourselves. And then we see all our expectations and fantasies which we placed in the virtual world turn into an invitation to superficiality, making us value appearance more and more at the expense of being. And because we based our expectations on something empty and unsustainable, we see hypocrisy finding in these platforms a favorable environment to reproduce exponentially, involuntarily. Because of all this behavior, a false morality started to gain a voice. A morality that, while being ruthless with some who expressed misunderstood opinions, promotes crooks and manipulators who are masters in the art of pretending to be someone they are not. The game of appearances and hypocrisy are the protagonists in this digital theater, where the characters pretend and the audience watches and judges. An inattentive look can lead one to believe that the masters of pretending are the winners of this game. But when you manage to see what they give up to achieve virtual success, you realize there's nothing successful about it there, because their lives have already become completely hostage to this illusion. And while they think they're the great masters of these platforms, it's actually the platforms that completely control them.
Things you own
End up owning you.
but do whatever you want.
I'm not here to preach or tell you what's right or wrong to do. My intention is just to clarify that the problem isn't in the act of playing itself, but in who you are as a player. And to point out that putting so much involvement and seriousness doesn't seem to me to be the best strategy in a game where winning is just an illusion. When you realize this, you no longer play like the others, or often you don't even play at all, but you understand the nature of this game. You start to see it as an option in your life and take on a certain power over it. The roles are reversed. It's no longer the game that takes from the player, but the player who takes from the game. And like a snap in your head, you suddenly realize that those who play this game to win never actually win. But those who play to take what's good from it might have a chance. When you reach this elevated state of consciousness, you start to understand the power you have over your decisions and the way you interact with the world. And therefore, you know that the real culprit for falling into this social media trap is no one but yourself.